Most Americans think a second passport costs $100,000 or more. But if your parents or grandparents came from one of these 6 countries, you may already qualify for citizenship completely free. Some of these passports let you live anywhere in Europe, and one of these countries surprises almost everyone. No investment, no real estate purchase, just documents and the right family connection. Let's start with Canada, because the story here is moving fast. Canada has long been a country that Americans look to for stability, universal healthcare, and a quality of life that consistently ranks among the highest in the world. But citizenship? That has historically been off the table unless someone was born there, married a Canadian, or went through the standard immigration process. That may be changing in meaningful ways. In early 2026, the conversation around Canadian citizenship eligibility for Americans with Canadian ancestry gained serious traction. The Canadian government has been examining pathways that could expand recognition for individuals with Canadian-born parents or grandparents, particularly amid the broader political and social tensions that have pushed record numbers of Americans to explore leaving the United States. News outlets picked up the angle with the kind of urgency that makes these stories go viral, and for once, the attention seemed warranted. The core question is whether someone with a Canadian-born parent or grandparent may have existing claims or future eligibility that have not been formally explored. The answer is nuanced, but the direction of policy conversation in Ottawa has been notably more open than in previous years. The benefits are obvious. Canada shares a border, a language, and significant cultural overlap with the United States. Healthcare is publicly funded, the job market is strong, and holding Canadian citizenship would give Americans a stable, familiar fallback that does not require learning a new language or adapting to an entirely different legal system. If there is Canadian ancestry in a family tree, 2026 is the year to look into it seriously. Now here is where the European routes become genuinely powerful. And the first one to understand is Ireland. Ireland is one of the most accessible citizenship by descent routes in the world, and around 15 million Americans claim Irish ancestry. The rule is straightforward in principle. If a grandparent was born in Ireland, it is possible to register on the Foreign Births Register and claim Irish citizenship. That citizenship comes with full EU membership, meaning the right to live and work in any of the 27 European Union member states. The catch? The Foreign Births Register has faced significant backlogs. Wait times have stretched into years in some cases, and the documentation requirements can be demanding, requiring certified birth certificates, marriage certificates, and other records that may need to be sourced from Irish archives or local county records offices. But here is the important distinction. The cost of pursuing Irish citizenship by descent, at its core, is administrative. There is a registration fee, document procurement costs, and potentially some assistance from a specialist if records are difficult to source. That is not nothing, but it is a fraction of what investment-based citizenship programs charge. An Irish passport in 2026 is one of the most powerful travel documents in the world, offering visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to well over 180 countries. It opens the door to European healthcare systems, European labor markets, and European residency rights. For anyone with an Irish-born grandparent sitting in the family tree, this is not a nice-to-have. It is a serious asset worth claiming. Have you checked your family tree yet? Because the next country may surprise even more people. Italy operates a citizenship system known as jure sanguinis, which translates roughly to the right of blood. It is one of the more expansive citizenship by descent frameworks in the world, and with over 17 million Italian Americans in the United States, the potential pool of eligible claimants is enormous. The Italian system allows descendants of Italian citizens to claim citizenship regardless of how many generations have passed, with certain conditions. The Italian ancestor must have been alive as an Italian citizen after Italian unification in 1861, and citizenship must not have been renounced or abandoned under specific legal circumstances. There are also rules around transmission through women that have evolved through court challenges over recent years, opening up previously blocked lines of descent. The route itself is free in the sense that Italy does not charge an investment fee for citizenship by descent. But the process is genuinely complex. Applications go through Italian consulates, which have faced some of the longest wait times of any citizenship program in the world. Some American applicants have reported waiting several years just for a consulate appointment. Others have pursued alternative routes through Italian courts, which can be faster but involves legal representation costs. Despite those challenges, an Italian passport is an EU passport. It carries the same fundamental value as an Irish or any other EU member state passport, with the added draw of Italy itself as a place to live, work, or retire. The Mediterranean lifestyle, the food, the culture, the climate, These are not trivial considerations for someone weighing what a second passport actually means for quality of life. The paperwork mountain is real, but for 17 million Italian Americans who may already qualify, the question is whether the mountain is worth climbing. Most people who have done it say yes. Poland is next, and this one is consistently underestimated. Around 10 million Americans identify Polish ancestry, making it one of the larger ancestry groups in the country. Poland offers a process known as citizenship confirmation or citizenship restoration, which allows descendants of Polish citizens to formally confirm that they are in fact still Polish citizens under Polish law. This matters because Poland, like Italy, is an EU member state. A Polish passport provides all the rights and access of EU citizenship, including the ability to live, work, study, and access healthcare across the bloc. Poland has also seen rapid economic development over the past 2 decades, with a lower cost of living than Western Europe, but increasingly strong job markets and infrastructure. The Polish route requires demonstrating an unbroken line of Polish citizenship through ancestry. Documents proving the Polish heritage need to be gathered, often from Polish civil records or parish records, and submitted to the Polish authorities. The process can be done via Polish consulates in the United States. One important note for 2026. Poland's political environment has been shifting, and access to official records has become somewhat more navigable through digitization efforts. That makes the documentation process marginally easier than it was 5 years ago. This is an overlooked route. Many Polish-American families are sitting on a legitimate path to EU citizenship without realizing it. If Polish grandparents or great-grandparents are part of a family story, it is worth investigating whether citizenship was passed down and can be formally confirmed. Now Germany. And this one carries a weight that the other routes do not. Germany operates a specific citizenship restoration program under what is known in 2026 as Section 15 of the German Nationality Act. This provision was established to restore German citizenship to individuals and their descendants who were stripped of citizenship during the Nazi era, including Jewish Germans, political dissidents, and others persecuted by the National Socialist regime. This is not a general citizenship by descent program in the same way that Italy or Ireland operates. It is specifically designed to address a historical injustice. But its scope is significant. Millions of people fled or were expelled from Germany between 1933 and 1945, and their descendants scattered across the world, including in large numbers to the United States. If there is German Jewish heritage in a family tree, or if an ancestor fled Germany during that period and lost citizenship as a result of persecution, the Section 15 route may apply. The German government has taken this program seriously and has processed substantial numbers of applications. The citizenship that results is a German passport, which is regularly ranked as one of the most powerful travel documents in the world. The documentation requirements are as one would expect: evidence of the ancestor's German citizenship, evidence of the persecution-based loss of citizenship, and documentation of the family line connecting the applicant to that ancestor. Some records may be held in German federal archives or state archives, and applicants can request documentation to support their claims. This is not a citizenship route that should be reduced to a travel hack. It carries real historical meaning. But for descendants of those who were forced to leave Germany, reclaiming that citizenship in 2026 is both legally available and, for many families, emotionally significant. For mobile data while traveling to any of these countries, a Saili eSIM link is available below. Greece rounds out this list, and it is one of the most overlooked options for Americans of Greek descent. Greek citizenship by descent is available to individuals who can demonstrate that a parent or grandparent held Greek citizenship. Greece does not have the same kind of multi-generational reach as Italy's Jure Sanguinis framework, but the Greek-American community is substantial, and many families have relatively recent connections to Greece that would qualify. The Greek passport provides EU citizenship, access to all 27 member states, and the right to live, work, and access European healthcare. Greece itself offers a quality of life that consistently attracts retirees, remote workers, and digital nomads from around the world. The Mediterranean climate, the food, the cultural heritage, and the relative affordability compared to Western Europe all contribute to its appeal. The process involves applying at a Greek consulate or through Greek municipal records, and like the other routes covered here, documentation is key. Birth certificates, marriage certificates, and records establishing the Greek ancestry need to be compiled and submitted. Wait times vary by consulate and caseload. Greece is not the first country that comes to mind when Americans think about second passports, which is part of why it remains underused. For Greek American families who may have grandparents or parents with Greek citizenship in their history, this is a route that deserves a closer look in 2026. Flight prices for exploring any of these destinations can be checked using the Kiwi link in the description. Now step back and look at what this list actually represents. 6 countries: Canada, Ireland, Italy, Poland, Germany, and Greece. Every single one of them offers a legitimate path to citizenship that is based on ancestry and descent, not investment. The fees involved are administrative, not 6 figures. The primary currency required is documentation, patience, and an understanding of which rules apply to a specific family history. The global citizenship industry does not have a strong incentive to highlight these routes. Investment-based citizenship programs, the ones requiring $200,000 or more in a real estate fund or government donation, are far more lucrative for the firms that facilitate them. The ancestry routes exist largely outside that commercial ecosystem. They require a different kind of effort, but not the same kind of money. The catch is real though, and it should not be minimized. Document procurement across international archives can be time-consuming and occasionally expensive. Consulate appointment backlogs, particularly in Italy and Ireland, can stretch the timeline significantly. Eligibility rules have specific conditions, and not every person who claims Irish or Italian heritage will qualify under the legal framework. Some lines of descent may have been broken by naturalization, renunciation, or other legal events that affect how citizenship passed from one generation to the next. This is why research matters before investing time and energy into any specific route. The first step is always understanding whether a legitimate line of descent exists under the specific rules of the target country. The second step is identifying what documentation exists or can be obtained to prove that line. The third step is engaging with the relevant consulate or legal process. Have you started looking into your own ancestry? Because there is a reasonable chance, especially for anyone with Irish, Italian, Polish, or German heritage, that the answer to a second passport is already sitting somewhere in family records. Accommodation prices for any extended stays while pursuing these processes can be explored using the Expedia hotel link below. The broader picture in 2026 is one of increasing interest in second passports and alternative citizenship among Americans. That interest has been driven by political uncertainty, healthcare concerns, lifestyle preferences, and a growing awareness that geographic flexibility is a form of financial and personal security. The demand has never been higher, but the mainstream conversation about second passports still tends to default toward expensive investment programs, as if those are the only option. They are not. The ancestry routes covered in this video represent the most accessible and underutilized pathways available to American citizens. Millions of people in the United States are sitting on eligibility they have never explored. The question is not really whether these routes exist. They do. The question is whether someone is willing to spend the time going through records, engaging with consulates, and following a process that may take months or years to complete. For those who are willing, the outcome is a second passport with real-world value, travel flexibility, residency rights, healthcare access, and the security of knowing there is another country that legally recognizes a person as one of its own. That is not a trivial outcome. That is a life-changing asset. If any of this applies to a specific ancestry situation, the next step is researching eligibility requirements for the relevant country and beginning the documentation process. The links and resources available in the Horizon Society community go deeper into each of these routes, including specific documentation checklists and guidance on navigating consulate timelines. Millions of Americans already qualify for citizenship by descent without spending anywhere close to $100,000. The barrier is not money. It is knowledge and follow-through. This video was about the knowledge. The follow-through is the next step. Subscribe to Horizon Society for more breakdowns on residency, citizenship, and global mobility in 2026 and beyond.